When Xiaomi announced the Mi A3 in India, I was honestly not looking forward to review this phone. Snapdragon 665 720p display for a price tag of 13,000 rupees seemed a lot and I didn't want to review this phone. But then I still ended up buying it. I used it for 2.5 months and now I think this is one of the best phones you can get under 13,000 rupees. So what changed my mind? What's so good about the Mi A3? Allow me to explain in this video. So hey guys, gizmoddict here and this is my long-term review of the Xiaomi Mi A3. If you're watching my channel for the first time, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos like these and press the notification bell. And also take a look at our sponsor gizmoddict.com if you'd like to have the best tempered glass for your phone. These guys are the only ones in India that give you an actual 2.5D curved edge tempered glass, and all of my phones have glasses from gizmoddict.com. Their real curved collection is the best. That is also available for the Mi A3, and you get a tempered glass which is full glue edge to edge and it has actual curved edges. So don't forget to check out gizmoddict.com and use the promo code GIZMO so that you can get 10% discount on your order. Now let's get started with the review. So the biggest thing that I liked on the Xiaomi Mi A3 is not its camera, it's not its battery life, it's not its performance, definitely not its display, but it's actually the form factor of the Mi A3. If you see, every phone in the mid-range and the budget segment is having displays of 6.4 inch, 6.5 inch, even more than that, and people who like compact phones have really no options left. But then Xiaomi Mi A3 is not like that, and that is what I really like on this phone. You've only got a 6.08 inch display on the Xiaomi Mi A3 and the overall form factor of this phone is very light and compact. I mean, the phone is not that heavy, it's not that thick, and it's very small as well. So a lot of people who have small hands or people who prefer to use smaller phones do have a good choice with the Xiaomi Mi A3. And when I'm mentioning it, you might think that it's a very trivial thing, 6.0 inch and 6.5 inch. It's not that big of a deal, but when you actually use it, a phone with a 6-inch display is much more manageable. It easily fits in one hand. You can use the phone completely with your single hand. It doesn't feel bulky, and the major difference is when you're taking phone calls for a very long time. So I normally have to take a couple of phone calls for at least 1.5 and 2 hours, and when I was using the Mi A3, I was actually appreciating the overall form factor and the compactness of this phone. It doesn't feel that heavy when you're speaking on the phone for longer periods of time, and that is something a lot of users would appreciate. And Xiaomi has not compromised here by any chance. You've got the same glass body that you've got on their other devices. Gorilla Glass 5 on the back, you've got Gorilla Glass 5 on the front. You've got this really nice dot notch design, and you've also got all of the basic things like the Type-C port, you've got the headphone jack, loudspeaker, even the IR sensor that a lot of people love in the Xiaomi phones is present on the Xiaomi Mi A3. So yeah, the build quality and the form factor is one of my favorite things on the Mi A3. And coupled with that, I really like this pearl white color on my Mi A3. So all in all, it's a really good looking phone, a good feeling phone, and if you like compact phones, you're really gonna love using the Mi A3. So yeah, this has been my favorite element on the Mi A3, and apart from that, what I really liked on this phone as well is the camera. Now the Mi A3 gets a triple camera setup on the back, so no macro lens here, no quad camera, but then you've got triple cameras. So you've got a primary 48 megapixel IMX586 sensor, then you've got a wide angle lens, and then you've got a third kind of a useless lens which is the depth sensor. So yeah, basically you've got the IMX586 and a wide angle lens, and the camera quality is the best on the Xiaomi Mi A3, and that's not because of Xiaomi's own camera app. The thing is that on Mi A3, I don't know how, maybe it's the Snapdragon 665 or maybe it's the stock Android, Google camera is super compatible on this phone. I've actually made a video about Google camera on the Mi A3, and there you can see the performance of this phone is amazingly good. So do watch that video if you want to know more about Gcam, but the point is, for less than 13,000 rupees, this is the best camera phone that you can get. I've compared the camera performance with the Redmi Note 8 Pro, with the Redmi Note 8 Moto G8 Plus, which you will see in the next couple of days. But honestly, this phone has got the best camera quality under 13,000 rupees. And that's all because of Gcam. HDR Plus is working very well, portrait mode is working insanely good, selfies are amazing on this phone, and you've also got night sight working. So all in all, everything's working with Google camera and the image quality is top notch. So all in all, Gcam is super compatible on this phone, and you should definitely install it if you're planning to get the Mi A3. In fact, if you want the best camera phone under 13 to 15,000 rupees, I would recommend you to go get the Mi A3 because the selfies, the rear facing camera, portraits, photos in daylight, photos in indoor conditions, low light, everything is amazing. So yeah, the best camera phone that you can get in this price bracket. So camera is another thing that I loved really loved on the Xiaomi Mi A3. But then when it comes to watching the videos and the photos that you take from the Xiaomi Mi A3, comes the 720p display. And there has been so much outrage about this. Even I was the one who was not happy with the 720p display on the Mi A3, and a lot of people might say that 1080p LCD display versus 720p AMOLED is better, but then honestly that's not a fair comparison. And a lot of people are also saying that iPhone XR and iPhone 11 give you a 720p display at 60,000-70,000 rupees and Mi A3 is just at 13, so why are you complaining? Well, to get the facts straight, let me get a bit technical here. The iPhone XR and the iPhone 11's display is not 720p. It's somewhere between 720p and 1080p, and the pixel per inch, which is the PPI, is more than 300. And when PPI is more than 300, it's difficult to see pixels with the naked eye. Unless you put two phones really close and you watch them, only then you can see the pixels. But then Mi A3's pixel density is less than 300. It's approximately 283 to be precise, so here you do see the pixels, especially if you're coming from a 1080p display. If you're coming from a 720p display or lower, this display is definitely an upgrade for you. But if you're gonna come from 1080p display, you might notice the pixels initially, but then you will get used to it. So yeah, 720p display cannot be better than a 1080p display in terms of detailing or the pixels that you see. But then the quality of this display is very good. It's an AMOLED panel, so you've got those deep blacks, you've got really nice contrast, really nice saturation, so watching videos, Netflix, Amazon Prime, all of that is a very good experience on the Mi A3. It's not a bad display. In fact, the colors, the saturation and all is one of the best in this segment. It's just that when it comes to sharpness or detailing, it is clearly behind than the 1080p display. I don't see it to be a deal breaker, but yes, if you are a pixel peeper, then maybe you would prefer a 1080p display. But for majority of the people, I don't think this is gonna be a deal breaker. Although one thing that I didn't like is that somehow, in spite of having wideband L1 support, the Mi A3 does not support a full HD playback in the Amazon Prime app. Now I've seen this in a lot of phones with the Amazon Prime Video. Netflix works fine majority of the time, but then for some reason Amazon Prime always ends up messing up. So yeah, I think this should be fixed with an update, but I thought I would just let you know. But you do have wideband L1 support. This display also gets an inbuilt fingerprint sensor, and here's another complaint that I have with Xiaomi. So we have seen Realme do really well with in-display fingerprint sensors even on their budget phones. They are very fast, they are quick, they are accurate, but I didn't have the same experience with the Xiaomi Mi A3. On the Mi A3, I felt that the sensor was considerably slower than, let's say, the Realme XT. So I think Xiaomi needs to work on that. In terms of accuracy, it was fine, but then I feel the XT was a lot more accurate and a lot faster as well. Here you can clearly see a delay when you put your finger on the display and then it unlocks. So yeah, there is that small delay in the animation and things like that. But still, Realme XT is faster, this is a bit slower. So I didn't like that, but you also have face unlock, so you can instantly just look at the phone and unlock it, which is also a good thing. I would prefer using the face unlock here because the in-display fingerprint sensor is a bit slow than I expected it to be. But then still a huge thumbs up to Xiaomi for including this at this price segment and also giving us an AMOLED display. Maybe if Xiaomi would have given a 1080p AMOLED display here and priced this phone at 14,000 rupees maybe, it would have been the best in this segment. But sadly, it's a 720p display. Once again, not a deal breaker for 90% of the people, but yeah, there might be a minority which not like it. Then we move on to another important part of the Xiaomi Mi A3, which is the performance. So you've got the Snapdragon 665 here. You can either go with 4GB RAM or 6GB RAM, and you've also got 4000 mAh of battery inside. If you talk about the performance here, to be honest, I don't think it's on par with other phones that cost 12 to 13,000 rupees. If you talk about PUBG, you can only go up to the high frame rate, which is 30 FPS, and in comparison, if we see other phones like the Galaxy M30s or Realme 5 Pro, you can go up to Ultra or even further. So in terms of like gaming performance and things like that, it's not that great, but you can install GFX tool and get a very respectable frame rate. I did a video where I installed GFX tool on the Xiaomi Mi A3, and there you can get around 40 to 45 FPS in PUBG, which is a very good thing. So if you want to play PUBG on the Mi A3, you can just install GFX tool so that it runs very well on the phone. Apart from that, in terms of day-to-day usage, I honestly did not face any problems on the Xiaomi Mi A3. This phone has got UFS 2.1 storage, so everything's very fast, opening apps, closing apps, switching between apps, memory management, even on the 4 GB RAM variant, everything was good, and I didn't feel that the Snapdragon 665 was slow or it was bringing down the performance of the phone or anything like that. In day-to-day usage, it works really well and I've got no complaints with it. And the major credit goes to the stock Android interface that we've got on the Xiaomi Mi A3. Here you've got bare bones version of Android, so there is no interference from MIUI, there is no ads, nothing. It's just pure stock Android, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it's very lightweight, it's very well optimized, it runs very well with apps like Gcam, and a lot of people do prefer that look that stock Android gives you. But then it's a bad thing because in terms of feature, it's literally zero. Basic things like call recording, dual apps, gestures, all of those things you don't get on the Xiaomi Mi A3. And I feel that is a bit of a miss because a lot of phones now incorporate them into their UI. OnePlus does it with Oxygen UI. They do have stock Android but with a lot of added features. Asus has started doing that. So if Xiaomi can do that maybe in the next iteration of the Mi A3, that would be really great because a lot of people do appreciate these features like call recording, dual apps, etc, etc. And what was really surprising was that on the Mi A3, I don't know why, for some reason, you don't have the option of switching to on-screen buttons. So you've got the Android Pie gestures here, and if you go to settings and try to change it, you don't have the option there. I don't know if this is a bug or what, because since the last 2.5 months, Xiaomi has not bothered to fix this. So if someone from Xiaomi is watching this, please add the option to use on-screen buttons because I honestly prefer using them than the Android 9 gestures. And talking about Android 9, yes, this phone is still running on Android 9, which is once again a disappointment because when you're launching a phone with stock Android and the focus is on updates, why aren't you bringing the updates? The Mi A3 was supposed to get the Android 10 update in October, but I don't know why this phone hasn't received it yet. Xiaomi always does that with the Mi A series. They're always behind in terms of updates, so it kind of kills the whole point of buying a phone with stock Android, because anyone who would buy that buys it with the perspective that yes, I will get faster updates here in comparison to MIUI devices. So once again, that is also something I don't like. So I hope that Xiaomi pushes the updates as soon as they can. They will push an update. They are not like Motorola, but then they do delay the updates quite a lot, which I don't like. The Mi A3 also has a 4030 mAh of battery, and considering that you have a 720p AMOLED display and a Snapdragon 665, overall the battery life is very good on this phone. It's one of the best once again in this segment because I could easily get more than 6 or 6.5 hours of screen on time even on heavy usage. And my usage is actually pretty heavy because I stream music via 4G, via Bluetooth a lot when I'm in my car. I use Google Maps, I have phone calls for 1 or 2 hours. So overall, it's a very heavy usage, and in spite of that, I could get more than 6 hours of screen on time, which is a win in my books. It doesn't even take that much time to charge. It supports 18-watt fast charging, but I don't think Xiaomi gives you an 18-watt fast charger inside the box, but there is support for that as well. But the 4030 mAh of battery is easily gonna give you 1 day of battery life on very heavy usage. And if you're a medium user, you can actually go for like 1.5 days as well. So no complaints about that. Battery life is also very good on the Xiaomi Mi A3. If we talk about some other things as well, audio via the headphone jack is good. You've got the IR port, which a lot of users appreciate. I personally appreciate this a lot because the AC remote in my room does not work, so I always use a Xiaomi phone as a remote. So I really appreciate this feature. Call quality, network reception, all of that was great as well. You've got a hybrid SIM slot here, so if you want to store a lot of things and use dual SIM cards, I would recommend you to go with the 128GB variant. So to sum this up, I think that the Xiaomi Mi A3 is a very good phone for under 13,000 rupees. You've got stock Android here, which a lot of people appreciate. The performance of this phone is very good for day-to-day usage. You've got a really nice camera setup. In fact, the camera is one of the best on this phone. Plus you've got very compact form factor and build quality, which I really like. And the battery life is great too. So if you'd like to buy the Xiaomi Mi A3, I have no problems in recommending it. But like I said, you will have to deal with a couple of things like the 720p display. If you're coming from a 1080p display, you will find the sharpness to be low on this display. If you're coming from below 720 or 720, this display would be an upgrade for you. And also, like I said, the software experience, Xiaomi does not give you any extra added features on the stock Android, and they're slow with updates as well. If you can live with this, I think that the Xiaomi Mi A3 is a very good phone. In fact, it's one of the best for 13,000 rupees. So if you want to buy this phone, go ahead and buy this because the camera performance is great, and don't forget to install Gcam on it. I hope that you guys liked my review of the Xiaomi Mi A3. A lot of other reviews are coming very soon, including a re-review of the Redmi Note 8 Pro, because quite a lot of things have changed since my first review. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please share it with your friends, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. That's it from my side. Thanks for watching, and I will be back in a notifications very soon. Peace.